Yes, good evening. Hello. Hello, my people. Your online advocates, one and only online advocate is here, live in your faces. How are we doing? How were the Owambes party today? Hello. Good to be here. It's good to be here. Yes. Kindly, wow, don't mind me. Good evening, please. Hello. Is there anybody in the house? Hello. Yes. How are we doing? How were our days today? Yes. How were the parties? How did it go? Then even our weeks. How did it go at work? We thank God for bringing us here. Yes, thank you, Oluade Covenant, for coming online now. Yes, I've always said on live by 8 o'clock. But of course, sometimes we have some of these issues that may not make us to come, online on time. But I'm here. We thank God that I am here now and we're able to do this. So, whoever is in house with me, good evening, happy weekend. I hope our Saturday was kind was restful enough and we're able to rest in the house, or did we go out for parties? Did we go out for the Owambes? How did we enjoy ourselves? Ore Oluwa, good evening, my sis. How are you? How is the family? Thank you for coming online. This evening, I want to actually speak on paternity fraud. Yes, I want to. I want us to start. If we can just take it twice this evening, probably next week, Saturday also. I want to be talking, or let's rub minds on paternity fraud. What is paternity fraud? Is it recognized as a crime in Nigeria? What is the statistic behind it? Yes. Yes, thank you, Luade Covenant. Kindly join. CD Sadiq. Hello, thank you. Yes, thank you, Ore. Yes, I love you. Yeah, my sister, Mrs. Ogunwale Oluwasoyin. Thank you so much for joining. This evening, my sisters, the topic we'll be speaking about, I think some of us may not really like it. Even though the program is gender and the law, that is that last week while we were talking, discussing our last topic, one Oluade Covenant raised a question or a comment, and he said, let me read it out. Say, if I am having the premonition that my child doesn't belong to me, what is your advice? Said if he's having the so our if or she, our men, our fathers, our brothers, please kindly join me. I need more of your. The time I sat on a mediation, I think it was at a police station. I don't want to mention the division or the place actually now. And the police women that we work hand in hand on some of these our issues, gender issues, called on me, then as the chairperson of International Federation of Women Lawyers, Oyo State chapter. So I went there, and what was the matter about? Two men were actually fighting on the identity of a particular child. That is whether the child belongs to Mr. A or it belongs to Mr. B. And in the center of the matter was a lady who, as at that time, was heavily pregnant, was about to give birth. Of course, she has a daughter as her firstborn. For some time, for like 3 years, she had dated someone, and she moved from the house of, she had dated, let me say, Mr. A, and she moved from the house of Mr. A now to a house rented by herself at that time while they came for the mediation. So this pregnancy cannot belong to Mr. B, because in the last 7 months, before you even left me, we had had some copulation. I demanded for conjugal rights, and you gave me. We had sex. We have slept together. House. Of course, we've been having sex, regular sex, and I believe that this pregnancy and the child, your first child, belongs to me. And Mr. B is saying you don't know what you are presently with me in my house. This pregnancy that she's carrying, that she's about to give birth to, belongs to me. And I am the father of that child. So we were there, confused. We had to ask the two men to go out. We asked this lady, who do you think is the owner of this pregnancy? She said, I don't know. Why? Well, I have slept with the two of them during the pendency, Of course, this man was Mr. B was my ex-boyfriend, and Mr. A, yes, I've been staying with him. But I moved out of the house about 7 months ago, because even though we were sleeping together and we're having regular sex, it wasn't satisfying me sexually. So as I was sleeping with him, sleeping with Mr. A, I was equally sleeping with Mr. B. So we were dazed. I was actually dazed. And I said, now that the two of them are fighting over this pregnancy that I had not even given birth to, so what do you do? What do we do? And even as I asked, I said, your firstborn, I mean the girl that that is your first child, do you know who she belongs to? And she said, I think I can say who that one belongs to. So who is it? Let me not tell you what her answer was. However, this is the many problems we wake up to in Nigeria almost every day. And paternity fraud is a very complex issue in Nigeria. More so, even when the Constitution has not uh, defined, I mean, Constitution does not really prescribe somebody as a bastard in Nigeria. So you cannot say because Mr. A was the one that fathered the child and Mr. B is the one taking care of the child. So a particular child is a bastard of a bastard child of Mr. A. In fact, as a matter of fact, there is nothing like bastard child in Nigeria. And you cannot point to anybody and refer or regard such a person as a bastard in Nigeria. So, from statistics, though we lack that also in this country, we don't keep numbers, have data. But and of course, where we have it, it's even limited. You cannot use it, to formulate anything. You cannot rely on some of these data that we have because of in a report that was put in the media space by a particular Nigerian newspaper in Nigeria, stated that 30% of men in Nigeria who took DNA to determine paternity of their children discovered that they were not the biological father of such children. 30%. It means that one third of all men are not actually the fathers of the child that they presumed are their own. One third. So of all the children, if you put 1 to 10 children down and you ask their father to line behind them, one out of the three children may not belong to the father that is actually saying, I am the father of this child. Anu Oluwa, Anu, my friend, how are you? So how is the family? How is USA now? Well done. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So that is the situation we find ourselves in the country. One third of every father that is claiming that I am the father of these children will find out that if they put three children, they line three children up, yeah, of the country that has the highest number of paternity fraud. So Jamaica is the first on the list, while Nigeria follows after. So that is what we have. And globally, it has also been established that one third of every father claiming the father of this child, of a child that they presume is their own, will actually find out that after all, they are not the father of such children. As a crime in Nigeria, if it is a crime, does that law prescribe the punishment? We'll be looking at it next week. I have told us we will not really be taking our time because I know as their time out to watch this. Many may also view it after I must have gone offline. I will appreciate us to raise, comments. Let's raise comments, let's bring up, and I believe we're going to enjoy it. A lot of people end up in being depressed when they find out that they've been scammed about the paternity of a child they've been taking care of all their lives. Apart from depression, some end up even in psychiatry home. They cannot just fathom it. They cannot bring themselves to the reality that, oh, this child that I spent millions on doesn't actually belong to me. And let's talk about the child too. The trauma that the child also go into. These are some of the consequences we look into later. But right now, let's look into what actually causes uh, paternity fraud. Oh, Bradley Chapman, thank you. That is one of my very constant uh, um, friend on Facebook Live. When I come on, is always joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you, Bradley. God bless you. Yes. So let's look into the causes of paternity fraud. I've told us in court today, a lot of things, issues that will make the courts, of course, to give an order for probably tests to check the legality or otherwise of the child paternity, of the child belonging to a particular man. Adetutu Okeyemi, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for what, yes, thank you so much. So, a lot of issues in court like that that raises the legality or otherwise of the paternity of a child, whether the child belongs to that man or not. And it is only when you are in the shoe of those men that this happens to that you can really actually feel what they feel when they are in such situation. So, what are the causes? First and foremost, a lot of women have these extramarital affairs, being not satisfied with a particular man. They go after several men. Well, we call it infidelity, extramarital affairs. You leave your home, even as a married woman, legally married, you still, have sex partners outside of the marriage. And sometimes, of course, such sexual intercourses result into pregnancies. And because of what the society will say, what would they say? I'm a married woman. So they bring the pregnancy to the home. And of course, such men will not know. They still have regular sex with their women or with their wives. And before you know it, of course, the child has foisted, the woman has foisted the child on the husband. And a husband that is not suspecting that such is happening will definitely want to take care when you say you are the father of this child. And even because of the legality of the marriage, you are together as husband and wife, whether the marriage was under the act or not. We are not even talking about marriage today, but based on what we're saying, people see you as husband and wife, and you bring another person's fetus to the home, you deliver such a child, and the man keeps taking care of such children or such a child. Extramarital affairs is one of the reasons why we have paternity fraud. Two, apart from the fact that, well, the woman just go out and she's frolicking around. Another one is, even in the house there with her husband, there are still other multiple. The first one is infidelity. You have a husband, and of course you have someone by the side, or you have some men by the sides. It's almost the same thing with this second one, that you have multiple sex partners. Many people will bring premise it on, my husband cannot satisfy me. He's not even looking at my side. Okay, we have some disagreement at this period. We have some women come up saying, at that period we have some disagreement. He wasn't coming around me. He wasn't He wasn't coming around me. He wasn't looking at me. If he wasn't taking care of me, he's always coming back late. And the next thing, they have, you know, partners by the side that they feel are there to satisfy their sexual urges. Yes, thank you. Anoluwapo Okosun. You said great talk and true talk. Oh, yes. Well, let God help us. This is a global phenomenon. It is not particular to Nigeria alone, but by the report that I found out, Nigeria is the second on the list after Jamaica of a country that has the highest paternity fraud. And though it's been something that had been on for a long while, However, I think it is just in this late 2010, 20 from 2010 upward, that we have an upsurge of it, that people start discovering, oh, I'm not the father of this child. Ah, I'm not the father of this child. And it also increases the number of DNA tests that we are having in some of our hospitals. And it also increased the orders that courts give for such DNA to take place. There is no trust again. But we are not here as motivational speaker. I am here as your number one advocate online. And we want to check the legality of this matter. We call it paternity fraud. It has fraud in it. So, does the fraud attract punishment? We'll be looking at that next week. But we are on the courses. We've talked about multiple sex partner and we have talked about infidelity. Another reason behind it is financial gain, financial support. Many people feel, okay, my husband has the money and it's not satisfying me. And I can go outside and get, probably even also some men, I will come to that shortly. So talking about this financial gain too, they feel my husband has the money and it's not satisfying me, then let me have the child from outside, bring him inside so that at least I can still be supported with the financial status of my husband, and I can also support the child too. Some people do that outside the country where they usually have child support. Government gives them child support. So, and they still want to have the status of unmarried. So they stay under that status of I'm married, probably because of some things that status confer on them. So they now get these children from outside and bring them to their home and foist it on their husband as the father of such children. Okay, Bradley is asking a question. So will be who should be blamed for paternity fraud, the husband or the wife? Each of them has their issue, but when it comes to, we are calling it paternity fraud. That is fatherly fraud, if you call it like that. Somebody, you are saying this is the person and it's not the person. So to blame now, well, it is the woman. A lot of time when a woman comes out, people will say it is a woman that knows the father of a child. So if a woman should come out and point at a man and say, Mr. A is the father of my child, it means that case should close. Because of course, you should be able to know who impregnates or impregnated me at such and such period. But now it's becoming rife that is no longer the issue. A woman can point to Mr. A and they will actually find that it is Mr. B that is the father of such a child. They'll find out that it is, yes, it is the father is different, even though the woman that had carried the pregnancy and that is saying this is the father of the child, you'll be surprised that the person she's pointing to might not even actually be the father of that child. So that is the fraud in it. So now I think the blame will shift to the wife. But in the legal world, there is a legal parlance that say he that assert must prove. If a man is coming out and just like Covenant had asked, Boluwati Fesonya, good evening, brother. How are you? Welcome on board. Thank you. So you saw that Oluade Covenant asked the question that if I'm having the premonition that my child does not belong to me, that what is my advice? And he doesn't want trauma attached. I believe that saying trauma should not be attached because of the child involved. We will still get to that. So, like I was saying, I said that One of the causes is also the financial support or the financial gain that such a woman is thinking she's getting in that marriage. And she knows that by the time she discloses that this child does not belong to this man, she might be thrown out of that home. So of course, to cover up, to continue to enjoy the status of being married to the man, most especially the financial gain and support, she keeps pretending and saying that the child belongs to the man, so that the gains and the support that she's getting from the man will not be stopped. But I was also going to a man that knows that, oh, because I think is one of the problems we have in this country, a man that actually knows I have medical problem, I have medical issue. Many of our men, because of ego, do not want to own up to the fact that I can have problems. So when a man and a woman marries, it is always when there is a delay, in conception or in conceiving, or the woman conceiving, most, the gaze will shift to the woman, because in Africa setting, it is the woman that is supposed to be fertile. It is the woman that's supposed to have, to conceive on time and have children. And when she's not having the child, every eyes are on the mother-in-law issue, the family issue, the pressure that why are you not conceiving? And the ego of the man that I am always fertile is there. But they must know that there may be some medical issue. And when such women sometimes will tell them, honey, dear, let's go for medical test, they always feel that that woman is punching their ego. It's puncturing, yes, it's puncturing their ego. I am a man. I should be. I am a real man. So such a woman, because she also still wants to keep her home, will go ahead, probably in having multiple sex partners and going out, you know, to have extramarital affairs, and thereby bring home the photos, foist it on the man that is the child. I wonder what the problem is in a man also testing that, oh, I have an issue. Okay, if medical reports or observation says that you have an issue as a man, then it will be treated. But most men, by virtue of the ego that men are born with, they're always like, no, I can't go for a test with you. They feel that, I don't know, where is there, and we all know it. We all see it. So with that, a woman that is pressured from all sides will want to find solution to her problem, especially when the man is not the understanding type to know that, oh, this and this is what I am supposed to do now. So these are some of the causes that I can lay my hands on. Do you know of any other cause or causes for this paternity fraud? Kindly type it. I want comments. I want us to comment and let's see how, you know, what the causes could also be. So, um, is paternity fraud, is it punishable by our laws? If it's punishable, what are the punishments? There is it prescribed as a crime? We will look at that next week. I don't want to take our time again. Yes, Niyi Giwa, good evening. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Please, my people, help me go to my YouTube uh, page too. It is Debbie's World, Debby, apostrophe S, World, Gender and the Law. Let me go there, like it. Let me share it also, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that whenever I come on too, If you are not on Facebook Live, you can also go to my YouTube channel. I'm also recording now as it is. Thank you so much. I will appreciate that seriously. So we'll be talking on the punishment for paternity fraud next week, and also look at whether there is a law that prescribe that paternity fraud as a crime, and the punishment that will go with it. Because now I really need to shift to talk to our women in Yoruba. Like I said, the concept behind this program is for our women that cannot also, understand English, to know about the law. What does the law say about this? I mean, some of this issue. Oga Nesta Olusoji, good evening, sir. How are you, sir? How is my sister? How is your worship? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. So, ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi nílé, Owólabí Olúṣèyí, thank you so much. I appreciate. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you seriously. Everybody that has joined me, thank you. So, ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi nílé, kí là ń sọ lálẹ́ yìí? À ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn tí wọ́n ń fi bàbá tí ò ń ṣe bàbá ọmọ pe bàbá ọmọ. Kí là ń pè ní fraud? Gbájúẹ̀. So àwọn tó ń ṣe bàbá gbájúẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ọmọ wọn tán ná bí kò ń ṣe ọmọ bàbá wọn. Àwọn nǹkan tá à ń pè ní bàbá gbájúẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní pọ̀ káàkiri ní Nàìjíríà wá ń sìn. Thank you so much, Oga Nesta. I appreciate. Thank you. Ó ti ń pọ̀ tó ti ń gbórí sókè. Ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ lọ wò mo rí pé ní Nàìjíríà ń bí àwọn bàbá gbájúẹ̀ tá à ń rí báyìí láti bí 2010 wá sí àsìkò yìí ló ti di pé a ti ń rí pé àwọn obìnrin wá ń sìn. Wọ́n ti wá bíi pé nǹkan ti ṣe sẹ́yìn, aṣọ ti ń ṣí kúrò lórí ẹ̀. Ẹ má jà gbàgbé pé ètò yìí obìnrin wa àti òfin la pè é, ṣùgbọ́n kò sí ohun tó bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láwùjọ wa, ó kan ọkùnrin ni o, ó kan obìnrin ni o, a máa gbé wò, a dẹ̀ máa gbé yẹ̀wò. Yes, Bradley, kí n tó máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ ní Yorùbá, Bradley is saying something, saying going out to have a child outside can also be linked to the morality of the woman. So it also depends on how strong their moral discipline is. Yeah, exactly. If you are loose morally, if you're a loose woman, there is no how you will not bring a child that is not for your husband into your home. It's happening now. It's causing a lot of home breakage. It's causing a lot of problems. It's depressing a lot of men. And also the child is traumatized. Such a child, how can a child that has grown to even be a man now know that this man is not my father? Ẹ ṣeun ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa bí mo ṣe ń bá ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ. Àwọn tá à ń pè ní bàbá gbájúẹ̀ tí àwọn obìnrin wa ti sọ di bàbá gbájúẹ̀ là ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí ní alẹ́ yìí. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún wa pé ní Nàìjíríà báyìí, Nàìjíríà ní ìlú kejì ní orílẹ̀-èdè kejì lẹ́yìn Jamaica níbi tí àwọn bàbá gbájúẹ̀ tán pọ̀ sí jù. Ibẹ̀ náà pọ̀ sí jù o, ibí nílùú wa ń bì lẹ́yìn Jamaica ló pọ̀ jù. Àwa ni ó tún kàn lẹ́yìn Jamaica. Àwa wò pé kí ló lè ṣẹlẹ̀. Ó túmọ̀ sí pé tí wọ́n bá mú ọmọ mẹ́ta sílẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí rìpọ́ọ̀tù kan ṣe sọ, àwọn tó ń ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, research tó ṣe sọ, ó túmọ̀ sí pé tí wọ́n bá kó ọmọ mẹ́ta sílẹ̀, ìkan nínú àwọn ọmọ yẹn kò ń ṣe ọmọ bàbá tó ń pe rẹ̀ ní bàbá ẹ̀. Òun ló ń jẹ́ bàbá gbájúẹ̀ o. Tí àwọn obìnrin kan nínú àwọn obìnrin wa tán ti wá ba ayé jẹ́ dé. Bradley, you are saying because a woman can decide to leave if the man is too egoistic and is not supportive rather than go sleep with someone outside. So it's a matter of morality. I will talk on that later. I said it earlier. A lot of women they can't decide like that because of the setting, the society that we are still wherein the man is still have sin. I'm sorry, but that is the way it be seen as having fault. A man is all in all. It cannot be seen as having any fault at all. Sorry for that. In fact, the lights going off. So when a man see himself as all in all, as nothing can happen to me, and see a woman is seen as, if you have any issue, deal with it and keep quiet with it, there is no way we will not continue issue, and it soon come round to being paternity fraud. Bí mo ṣe ń sọ lọ ní èdè